Right, I'm joined today by Marc White ahead of today's National League fixture at home to Gateshead. Marc, firstly, how are you doing today?
Yeah, very good, mate.
Obviously, hugely frustrating in the week Tuesday away at York. I don't know how far you and the players got on the journey, but obviously, logistically, that's a nightmare as well. You know, players having to take time off work and etc. etc. But how disappointing is that for you?
Well, yeah, obviously, really, we've only trained once this week, so we've trained once a week. So that's the pitfalls of being a part-time team, of course. So that cancellation killed us. Obviously disappointed in York, but obviously delighted with their owner that he's addressed it as he should have done. It wouldn't have been him directly.
No.
So that's done. We are where we are. The boys hopefully will be ready for the game. We're not really looking to delve too much into any previous outings, except really focusing on how we can build on that maybe last performance against Oldham, and actually a few before that weren't too bad either. But we need points. We need wins. I think if you look at the bench today, we're looking stronger all round. I think that'll bode us well, if not today, in the next few weeks.
I had a quick look at the form table for the last 5 games in the league, and the two teams, Dorking and Gateshead, both in the bottom 3 in the form in those last 5 games. Do you see today as an opportunity to start turning the fortunes around?
Listen, you only have a 1 win from everybody thinking you're going to win the league. That's how football works. I mean, it's a tight table. I think there won't be that many games on today, I'd imagine. So I'd imagine 3 points, you bounce up a few places. And you look at the table and go, brilliant, it's all good now, but it's not really. You're still 6 points from the drop. It's a tight league. It's a tight league. We obviously have to focus on what we're doing. We need points. We need points on board. We need to build a resilience. I need to be really vigilant to those boys that can produce consistent performances. I think I've been overly patient in certain areas with people, and we need to, I spoke to the boys and I've said, look, we need to really play for the shirt a little bit here. If you don't do well enough, it could be a while before you get back in. I said we really need to crank up the commitment to keeping the shirt. It sounds ridiculous, I know, but it can be a comfortable environment down here. It can be at times. We all know we're trying to consolidate in the league on a worst case basis. Does that mean you're as ruthless in team selection as you need to be at times? Probably not. When we've had seasons when we're trying to win the division, if the left winger has 2 bad games, we've either signed a new one or put somebody else in. But maybe sometime when you're consolidating, you don't maybe have that sort of ruthless approach, and maybe we need to take a view on that and to turn around results. So yeah, we need points. We're never far in this league from a win or a loss. It's a tough league. I think it's an inconsistent league. I think anyone beats anyone most days of the week. Gateshead are a great footballing side. To your point, they've lost players. They don't have huge resources. The previous player brought in players on a shoestring and done a great job, and they've now gone. So they're trying to find their feet. Let's hope they don't find their feet today.
That's what I want to quickly go on to. Obviously, Gateshead, Mike Williamson left. I think it was just before the away fixture, in the reverse fixture of this, and I think it's Rob Elliott now who's coming. What differences and similarities do you see Mike Williamson's side to now Rob Elliott's side? Well,
obviously Rob's they've got this incredible playing system that I think has been borderline top 2 or 3 for possession in the UK. Believe it or not, we're one of the only teams at their place that have more possession. We've had a really bad day at the office. I know I didn't say it at the time, and I know it sounds ridiculous, but it wasn't a 6-0 game except the 6 goals. But I wouldn't have mentioned that at the time for fear of looking as stupid as I do now. But my point is, we defended really badly that day, and we'd like to think we've come on a bit since then. But mate, listen, it's a tough gig. It's a tough league. We've trained once this week. That's all I'd say. So when everyone thinks, oh blimey, this, that, the other, whatever the scoreline tonight, bear in mind we've trained once all week. That is where we are as a club. And we are up against it always.
So last question for me, Marc. Obviously you mentioned a strong bench today. Can you fill us in on the rest of the lineup today?
Yeah, I mean it's Bobby, Tony, George, midfield Pybus, Taylor, McManus, Seb and Tom on the wings, Carter and Pryor up top. The bench is brilliant. You know, Hollis and Dan Gallagher. We're looking at Tuesday really what we might need there versus Gateshead, a very mobile team.
Yeah.
Return of Jimmy Mewett, return of Alfie Rutherford, Cal Kennedy as well, who've done well for us this year. I think he's played 3 games, we've won all 3. So look, it's pleasing to have them boys back. It's a cold day. No one's going to stand still, are they? They're all going to work that midfield done between them last game over 50 Ks. So we want to try and replicate that type of work rate against a team that I think is one of the hardest working teams in the league.
Yeah, it should be set up for a good game, Mark. Well, good luck to you.